Pretty.
Hello.
You look pretty. Hello.
Thank you. It's just because I straightened my hair today.
I did not straighten my hair. It's curly though. Look, I got this curl coming up from under my hat.
Yes, and then I'm wearing my noonday oversized it's a Cotswold shirt, but it's called a box tee. And my belief necklace.
Mm-hmm.
So we pretty much decided we're going home a week from today, which is heartbreaking. So I was like weeping on the way to the orphanage today because I decided to listen to music in my headphones. Because everybody else, the kids are all playing with tablets. Our driver's got an AirPod in to Bluetooth, and Jeremy's listening to Megadeth apparently on his way to the orphanage.
And Pantera.
I was listening to music and I got teary-eyed and I was like weeping, and then Jeremy makes it better by like patting my shoulder, making me weep more. You know,
I'm sorry I made it
so
worse.
it was awful. And like the whole way there, I'm like, we can't leave them here. We can't leave them here. Like, you guys don't understand the poverty that we see. We see little kids on the streets just walking around trying to sell bread. We see contaminated water sources. We see trash everywhere. I mean, we see like people fighting, and we see anger. I mean, we see the 187th out of 195th country is where we live at this moment. Our American kids have pretty much revolted against us, and they're miserable. Like, they're like, we don't get it. You told us we were coming for a month, maybe 2. We've been here for almost 5 months, and we miss our life, and we don't see why we're here. And they're 11, 10, and 8. And we've already gone well past, like, they're bitter about Liberia. They're bitter about the U.S. government. They're bitter about everything. They missed soccer this spring, which makes them mad. They missed their dog, which we'd only had for about 6 months, and God bless Devin for taking care of him for the last 5. She's almost had him longer than we have. We're just, I mean,
yeah.
It's just, they're mad, and I agree with them, and I'm not going to push them any further. We told them we were going to give it this week. We found out some bad news today, that basically, like, there's no end to this. Like, we thought we'd heard from reliable sources that everything was getting signed, that the suspension was going to be lifted, that the Ministry of Gender, Children, and Families and Social Protection is on our side, that they want to see this through to, well, maybe you guys should just move all your kids to the only agency that's not unsuspended. There's one agency right now that's not suspended, but you can't just move your kids there. Like, first of all, that also has to be approved by the Ministry of Gender. Second of all, you have to refile all of your paperwork, and you have to pay their agency fees on top of the agency fees you already paid. And I did reach out to our agency just to confirm that I was right on that, and I am. And that basically that only happens, the only way the MOG gives permission for that is if an orphanage or agency goes out of business. And you need a new primary agency, and you have to start over on their terms. The other thing is our home study accrediting agency in Florida is no longer doing international adoptions home studies as of this year. They did she mentioned that at our last update. Of course, we've done 3 home studies with her, so we're in our third year. So we have until probably, depending on when she dated the update, if she waited until May to date it, or if she did it in April. But we started the update before we left so that we would have it ready here for their adoption. So we paid, like, she didn't charge us the rush fee. I mean, it's $1,000 every time you do something. Like, it's ridiculous. And so we'll have to find a new home study agency, and hopefully our agency in Tennessee can't do our home study because they're in Tennessee. So you have to have a Florida home study. It's just one of those things that, like, we have asked ourselves, why do we ever go down this road? We love these kids. We're not gonna surrender these kids. We're not gonna give up on these kids. But if someone came to me today and said, and today's probably not the best day to ask, but if you were to come to me today and say, hey, I want to adopt internationally, what advice do you have for me? If you're just gonna tell me you're gonna adopt internationally, I'm gonna say, great, congratulations. I'll help you all I can. If you're gonna say what advice you have for me, I'm gonna say, don't do it. I'm going to say, don't do it. That's where I am. I want kids to come for the kids that I've met that are in this orphanage, but they're not reachable. These unmatched kids are not reachable right now. There are plenty of countries that are open and closed, but the U.S. government does not support adoption. They do not support international adoption. They do not support us as taxpayers trying to do this good thing. And when your government's against you, you can't win. You just can't win. And if one more person talks to me about God's timing, I hope you're not standing next to me because I'm going to punch you in the face. Because you will not convince me that God wants these children to stay in this orphanage and wants me to drive by all of this abject poverty and do nothing and take no one home, give no one a better life, give no one a chance at survival. You cannot tell me that God's timing has anything to do with the evil that is literally ruling over the international adoption world. You can't tell me. If you want to tell me it's God's timing, I don't like it. Don't tell me that anymore. That's not useful advice for me, because you're wrong. There are things that are wrong here. There are battles that are happening here that some we can see and some that we can't. But I mean, the timing. You will not convince me that God is in charge of this timing.
It's certainly, yeah. That's what I was gonna say. It's like there's timing, but it's not God that's doing it. It's somebody else.
These are stupid people with greedy hands out, trying to benefit from the most vulnerable kids that there are. And I am tired of paying them all to do just that. Benefit from the vulnerable children that are here.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people have their hands out? How many agencies need a fee for this, that, or the other? We're over $100,000 into this. I mean, we just easily got approved to do a Both Hands fundraiser, which Allison said she was going to help us do that in Tennessee. And I'm like, great. And I'm super glad it's an honor to be chosen for those applications. I know that they don't take everybody, and I'm glad that they took us, because we're going to need it. I just spent the last hour and a half texting back and forth with a Delta representative trying to figure out how to use my airline tickets to get home, because I have SkyMiles tickets, and when I bought the ticket, they had a 10 p.m. SkyMiles flight out of Ghana. Delta did, to Nashville. It goes to JFK. And between February and now, March 5th was when we were supposed to come back, and now Delta's changed their flight patterns. They changed their flight schedules. And so they don't have a 10:50 or 10:05 or 10:50. They don't have a flight going out of Ghana at that time. They have a KLM flight, which is one of their partners, but you can't use Delta SkyMiles for KLM flights, but you could use regular fare for KLM flights. So now I have this e-credit to use, and it's like this modified thing. I finally talked him into this. Like, I was like, can I just have the miles back? No, because it's partially flown ticket. Can I have this? Can I have that? No. Everybody says no. I'm like, well, then what am I going to do? You don't offer me a ticket out. Like, only 9 a.m. I can't get to Ghana before freaking 9 a.m. ever. And the other option was, okay, well, let's just go to Ghana the day before. There's no flights at all. So let's go to Ghana the day before. Let's spend the night at the Marriott. Well, now the day that I want to fly, the Marriott doesn't have any rooms. And honestly, we really need 2 rooms. We need adjoining rooms, because we have 5 people, and they're adult-sized people now. Like, they're 11, 10, and 8. They're not little. I can't just like stuff them in a stroller and say, oh, here, let's just recline it and let you sleep here. Although I might be sleeping in the stroller myself. We maybe could put our 8-year-old in the stroller.
I want to sleep at the bar. You guys do what
But
like,
I can't, and so then I have to pay $50 a piece for same-day visas in Ghana. So that's $250 I have to pay. And then I got to get 2 rooms at the Accra Marriott, which is the only one that's like within walking distance or has a reliable shuttle or is even a name brand that I would walk into. You know, there's some other ones, but I'm like, not so much. And that's going to cost me for 2 rooms probably like $700. So now I'm spending, what's 700 plus 250? $950. $950 just because I can't get out on a freaking SkyMile. Like, because Delta changed their flight pattern. That's how long I've been here. Delta's changing their flight pattern. And so luckily I finally got to chat with this person. Jeremy was like, if you get anything out of those tickets. So I don't want to, and then I tried to, so then I was like, well, we'll just eat it. We'll just spend the $950. We'll keep our SkyMiles tickets and we'll fly home. And we'll be home the next day. There's no hotel rooms available at the Marriott next to the airport in Accra on the night that I want to go. And then I'm like, well, but my kids, like, the only thing my kids want is they just want to be on American soil for the 4th of July to celebrate America's birthday. And I'm like, you know, I own that.
I'm glad they want to do it because my patriotism
Oh,
is
they just
dead.
want to see things light up in the sky, and they want to eat homemade ice cream, and they want to see their dog. And I want all those things too.
Yeah.
God bless Devin. Devin's like, we've got the RV out, and it's got power. It doesn't really have running water. You could probably flush the toilet. It's next to the house, and it's free. And I'm like, well, we're maybe not that destitute, because her friend has an Airbnb down the road that's available the 2nd and 3rd, but not the 4th. So maybe we will be camping out at Devin's on the 4th. But like, it's just, you guys, I don't want to hear about God's timing. I don't want to hear about you did a good job, you did your best. I don't want to hear any of that. I want to hear you're right. Everything is just...
Yes. That's how I feel too, except I'm angry. So we did get to go see our kids today. And we got this like really heavy news right before the visit, and I just couldn't help but feel like it just ruined the visit for me because
It's honest news.
I was so angry. Yeah, I really appreciate Nelson fighting for us and getting any information he could. It's more than we've gotten in a while, honestly.
Yeah.
It's good for him to go down and have a meeting with the MOG, and I mean they're going to have an official statement tomorrow. We've had some other communication where we've been asked to send some things and via email that may help. So I don't know what that's going to flesh out. We'll see. But it's not looking good. I mean, it's definitely the last hour of this journey. We're going to see what happens. So,
yeah.
Wish we had better news. I mean, honestly, like before we sat down to do our video, it's like I'm almost nervous that this is just never going to happen. Or I don't know what the journey will be after this, if that's the case. I mean, small world could shut down if we're being real. So.
Yep. Well, I mean, Liberia is going to drain them.
There's 2 agencies out of 3 that they're just literally sitting around on their butts. I mean, these people don't have unlimited resources to keep these agencies open. I mean, how do you think they make money? They make money by doing adoptions. So, I mean, they're going to have to...
I mean, we've helped extend it for them quite a bit just by telling other good people in the world what's happening here.
I mean, is the plan for the MOG is they're going to have to rehome 60 kids into their safe houses or whatever they call them that aren't safe. So I don't know. It's just frustrating.
It's just, and it's all just a lie. Like we get different news from different sources. And I mean, Nelson, had his own meetings today about his own business. He wasn't advocating he wasn't doing small world business or representing us in any way, but he has friends. He owns his own orphanage, or he runs his own orphanage that's owned by a nonprofit in the States. So he has his own things he needs to talk to the MOG about. But you don't have to look far. When you start talking to other staff members, they know what's happening. They know what's going on. And it's like this every day. I mean, every day we hear something different. This morning we heard that there was good news coming tomorrow. This afternoon we heard there's no good news coming because they still want to investigate more because there's not enough evidence to prove innocence. That was literally the words used. There is not, according to the MOG, there's not enough evidence to prove innocence, I guess. And I'm like, what happened to innocent until you're proven guilty?
I guess they don't do
because
that
no,
here.
they do. It's in their constitution. I think that the MOG thinks that they're going to get sued, and they're trying to make sure that there's something wrong to justify the suspension so that they can't get sued for back pay and for loss of revenue and loss of business for the last 6 months. I think that's their angle.
Well,
because they got to have an angle. Because everybody freaking in Liberia has an angle. Everybody in the U.S. government has an angle. And I have an angle too. And you know what my angle is I just want those 2 little girls. That's all I want.
Me too.
That's all I want. And I want mosquitoes. I got it. Mosquitoes to stop biting me inside the walls of where I sleep. Because look, like my whole arm is just... You can't probably see it in the video. My whole arm, everywhere. Like, places I can't show on camera, I have mosquito bites on them.
It's almost like we're on that show, what, Survivor Island, or what was that called? You had to live on the island? Survivor.
I just feel like we, too much daggum hope.
Yeah, this place is cursed.
I'm ready to curse my own hope. I'm tired of being hopeful.
And it doesn't help, to get on Facebook and we look at, the MOG and the people in charge and look at their Facebook and they're like, oh, happy and fancy clothes, and these decision makers are having these big fancy meetings, and it's like, have you actually been to the orphanage? You should go check it out.
They haven't inspected it yet.
You should get off your throne.
Kids have already broken the toilet seats we bought, but
you should go get off your throne and go visit the kids that you were trying to help.
Because they probably don't even know how to use toilet seats because they break them so quickly. It's hard to teach them.
So, anyway.
I wish I wasn't hopeful.
And I guess I was still a little hopeful because that's why it hurt so bad when we heard the news today, because I guess there was still a little hope there. But
I mean, I don't know.
Yep.
I think I've easily had all of the hope beaten out of me. I don't have any more. I'm gonna take my kids. I'm gonna go home. And if I ever get the chance to come back to Liberia, I'll bring the other two, but I don't think we will. I think there's about a 50-50 chance that our kids will ever leave Liberia. And I didn't think that before. And they're matched and their paperwork's like literally done and everything's fine with them. But I mean, once Liberia lets them go, who knows if the embassy ever will. I want to know, like, and it's not like we're just gonna quit either. I mean, we'll continue to sue every government entity that there is, and trust me, like, we can make I can come up with the money to do that.
Yeah, I've never been more motivated to earn now.
Just to pay for the lawyers, just to sue the heck out of all of them.
What do they call that? A little healthy hate. It's a good motivator.
This isn't about, and like, I'm not, like, I don't want to do anything with Liberia anymore. I don't want to do anything with the U.S. government anymore. I want to go live in Barbados, and I want to go to Canada in the winter. Canada when the hurricane season happens, in Barbados, and I want to live in Barbados and Canada, and I want to wash my hands of both of these countries forever, because I am disgusted at this. There are better ways to make money and be greedy than to exploit kids the way these countries are doing it, and exploit adoptive families and their goodwill. If I have to write another check to the U.S. government, or I have to write another check to the Liberian government, I'm just like, when does it end? You talk about trafficking and exploitation, and all of that. The ransom that it cost to just get two kids out of the evil clutches of poverty is just, it is an unknown number still. I'll let you know when we get there.
Yes. Just did it secretly, so I don't know.
Jeremy won't look at the spreadsheet, so Devin will. Devin and I have talked about my spreadsheets, and she's just as nauseous as I am. So at least somebody's nauseous with me, because Jeremy would have a stroke.
I got a ballpark, but
so I don't know. There's still that thing is like, well, what if all of this that we heard today was false, and there's been some type of change of heart, or overnight tonight there's some change of heart, and Madam MOG decides to come down to the little people and just sign the release of the suspension and lifts it and says, hey, go back to what you're doing. We're going to continue to keep an eye on you. We want you to take care of the kids and do a good job. I hope she does that tomorrow. And she may. She may very well do that tomorrow. Because the rumors that we hear every single day are different. And they're not coming from bad sources. They're not. Some of them are coming from other adoptive parents. Some of them are coming from military connections. Some of them are coming from MOG connections. Some of them come from U.S. Embassy. We get good and bad every single day. Nobody should have to live like this. This uncertainty is just not the freedom that I was born into. And I feel like a slave to Liberia and a slave to the U.S. government, and I want to be free from both. But if I want to be free from both, I gotta let go of these 2 little kids, it seems. And I can't do that either. Like, all the way to the orphanage, I was like, we just can't leave them here. We're gonna have to figure out a way to convince our American kids to stay. We're just gonna tell them to suck it up. We're gonna have to tell ourselves to stay. We're gonna have to tell our bank account to start cloning itself. We're gonna have to beg more people. We're gonna have to do more fundraisers. We're gonna have to do something. But we're not leaving them here. And then an hour later, I'm like, we get bad news that things aren't looking so great, and they're not going to lift their suspension. Nothing good's going to happen. But maybe we can get a meeting with someone. Maybe we can get a meeting with Madam MOG. Maybe if she looks in Jeremy's eyes, she'll be convinced that we're good people. If she looks in my eyes, she ain't going to see that. If there's somebody that I could go to blows with about this, I would. If there was anything that we could do, we would. But no, we're just going to get to go home, beaten by this, and take it as a loss. And the consolation prize is that we probably helped keep the doors open longer, at least made it easier to keep the doors open. Probably definitely we bonded with our kids. Definitely we gave hope to the children in the orphanage. I don't know, we may have given too much hope to the unmatched. I've still got kids writing me letters today. Please find me a good family like you.
Yeah.
Please find me a good family like you. Dear Rachel. They know my name now. They can spell my name. Even the 6-year-olds can spell my name now. I didn't teach them that, but my Liberian daughter can spell my name, and she's been teaching them to spell my name. Dear Rachel, thank you for all of the gifts you bring us, and all of the things, and all of the biscuits. Please find me a family as good as yours. It's not about finding the families. We can find the families all day long.
Yeah, the families are there.
But if you're a young couple and you're considering international adoption, I would look at domestic. Don't look at foster care. Look at domestic infants. There's a lot of them right now. And maybe if your passion is international adoption, maybe one day the tides will turn. We'll keep pushing. But don't put yourself through what we put ourselves through. Just don't.
Yeah. I kept telling Sam today, it's like, I just need to get off the roller coaster.
But you won't be. I mean, we'll be on the same roller coaster when we're at home.
It's the ups and downs of the...
We'll just be able to...
The emotional roller coaster of it.
Most people are like, I can't believe you lasted this long. I'm like, well, thanks. Thanks for saying that.
How was that stupid?
I can't believe we were stupid enough to last this long.
I know.
But it's me. It's on me. I didn't want to leave.
I didn't want to leave either. It's not just you. So yeah, we might get a meeting with the Madam MOG, the main lady herself. That'll be fun.
We won't.
Yeah, she probably won't see us, but she might. Only time will tell.
So yeah, the Deputy Minister Garme Tukpa, she did message us today and asked us to email to her and someone else. I don't know who the other email was, but she wanted all the documentation we had on our children sent, all the information that we had, and she was going to look look to see what she could do. We didn't tell her we were leaving yet, but we did send her. Jeremy sent her a hopeful text this morning, and she asked for all of our documentations, and I sent her everything that I had: home study, letter of intent that was dated July 14th, 2022, paid $2,500 each kid's $5,000. That money goes to Liberia. Letter of intent. Just announcing that we intend to adopt these kids. 2 years ago. So I think in the end, when all of this is said and done, whether or not we ever get to actually bring them home, I hope that we will. Whether or not we actually get to bring them home isn't really the thing as much as it is our 2 daughters, especially our old. I feel like our youngest daughter doesn't really understand everything that's going on. I feel like she's 6, but she's a young 6, and she just she's been at that orphanage since she was 3 years old, and she just doesn't. Her comprehension of the world is just the orphanage. She doesn't really know anything else. But her older sister was 5 when she came into the orphanage. So a little different perspective, and she's a little more, I don't know, she's a little more conversational with me at least, but I think that she knows for sure that she has good parents, that they love her, that they value her, and that they literally crossed the world just to say hi. And like, I mean, even if she turns 16, and the best thing we can do is somehow figure out how to get her a student visa so she can at least go to college in the U.S. before she goes back to Liberia. Like, that's on my mind. Like, maybe that's all we'll be able to do. It's just, it's insane. Because it's supposedly not hard to get a student visa. But at least that she knows that she's not nothing. She's one of the most, 187th in economic status and prosperity is where Liberia ranks out of 195. And she is a fatherless, orphaned, 8-year-old girl in an orphanage with nothing. So she's got to be one of the most marginalized people on the face of the earth. So we crossed the ocean for her. And that's the best we could do. But
Yep.
I don't know. I'm just not used to losing this hard. And I'm not used to being lied to by multiple adults for 5 months. Just lied to.
Right to your face.
Right to your face. And don't quote God's timing to me. This is not God.
Nope.
I think that God is here. But when you are the creator of the universe and you make the choice between free will or not free will, you give way to countries like this, both ours and theirs. And giving way to free will is just, it's ugly today. So, I don't know what else to say. I
think we've said enough.
think we said enough. I don't have anything good to say. I don't have anything funny to say, except for all my mosquito bites I can't put on camera. I'm cursing my own hope. I'm hoping my other kids don't hate me.
I'm cursing a lot of things, sadly.
I don't know what I'm going to do to make it up to the other kids. This was like this one day that we accidentally, so Jeremy and I were out on a boat. And we were kind of new to Florida weather patterns. And we should have gone in sooner and we didn't. So we ended up the kids and I got off the boat. And Jeremy had to take the boat back to the marina and then just drive to pick us up because we had to cross Charlotte Harbor, and it was just messy. And there was thundering and lightning. We probably could have crossed and been okay as a family, but it was just easier if we just got off the boat and went and had a bite to eat at the beach and let Jeremy take the boat across Charlotte Harbor.
The waves are pretty rough.
But so Jeremy doing it just by himself, just straight across the harbor with the storm kind of that way is one thing. Doing that, like just hauling, just, wide open throttle, just, really enjoying the boat. The center console. It's just our kids were not, we boated, Jeremy and I have been boating our whole lives, but our kids were still kind of young. This is 4 years ago, three years ago. Anyway, they still talk about it, especially our middle child, about, are you sure you looked at the weather? Remember that day that there was a storm and we had to get off the boat? And like when I decided to like kind of get off the boat with the kids and go to the local restaurant and let Jeremy go drive the boat back 45 minutes and then drive an hour and a half to pick us up. It was because she was like, I don't think this is a safe choice, Mommy. That's a big lightning. That's storms, and that's a big lightning bolt. But it was like she realized that she was having to tell me. And I knew it. But I was like, maybe we'll be okay. And she was like, no. And the waves were big. And for them, it was very scary. I feel like this is worse than that. I feel like she's going to hold it forever and be like, remember when you kept making us stay in Liberia when we wanted to go? And there was no good reason for us to stay. And that's on us. That's on me. I pushed for us to stay. So I get to try to make that up to her. I think maybe when she's an adult, she'll see the big picture and she'll understand that I was hopeful, even though I was stupid, to stay and trust people that can't be trusted. But I also, I don't think that she's going to be adopted anytime soon, especially internationally. I know for sure our American kids are not going to be foster parents, and they're not going to probably adopt internationally ever. Because it sounds like a great idea on paper. But
yep.
It's so destructive to so many things. And as Americans, as Christians, as adults, as good parents, you get yourself sucked into these things that sound like a good idea, and then you realize once you're in it and you can't really get out easily that you're wrong to get in bed with these people.
Yeah, you know the saying, how do you know such and such is lying? Their lips are moving. That's what it feels like here.
I mean, we've talked about like our marriage, like how our marriage has done really good job here. Our 15-year-old marriage. But it's been, our marriage has not thrived because of, but it has stayed together in spite of. It's almost like it's just tough. And you gotta kind of think about your marriage as like a third entity, you know. You have to feed the marriage, you have to spend time with the marriage gets mad. It's not me or him, it's just like a whole separate third party here. And our marriage has done good, but we got in this together and we gotta get out of it. And although I do think we stayed because I pushed for it, we definitely made that decision together.
Yep.
So it's time to bail.
We can fight from
It's
afar.
kind of one of those things too that like even if they lift the suspension tomorrow, I'm gonna be hard pressed to give them a chance to do anything. I'm ready to get on a plane tomorrow. But we've already paid up here till June 30th, so we might as well stay till then.
Also enjoy the vacation spot.
Yeah.
He says tongue in cheek. Still not too late to make a poster board sign and go protest at the MOG.
Yeah. No. What would it say?
I've thought about that a lot.
Madam Emoji.
No, it'd be like, MOG, set my people free, or MOG, let me adopt my kids, or
Gosh.
something funny like that. Could you imagine me? I bet the news would come by. They'd be like, look, there's a white dude standing on the sidewalk protesting.
I mean, they'd be making all those hissing and kissing noises at us the whole time.
Now, the question would be like, would the police show up? The Liberian National Police would be like, sir, you don't have a right to do that here. But if you give me 20 LD, I'll let you keep doing it.
I mean, we know almost all of them now.
They would be
There's
bribing
this
me.
one guy that kept stopping us, trying to take our money, making us take off our security lights and all this kind of stuff. And now he's kind of a rotund fella. It's not that I can talk or anything, but he just smiles. And he's like, waves at us now.
3
Like
times.
we're friends. I'm like, listen, Jeremy got out of the car after Emmanuel almost had a stroke trying to deal with you one day. And I was like, baby, you're gonna have to go talk to this guy. Emmanuel's about to lose his mind. And Emmanuel is chill. He is chill. But like, people come and trying to make us bribe them to do their job, to let us go, to not do their job. Give me $20, and he's like, I don't have any money. These people are missionaries. They're coming to adopt kids. Like, they don't have any money. And he's like losing his mind. I'm like, you guys. So this guy waves at us now, like we're friends.
I think he's asked me 3 different times for money.
And then his buddy does too.
But Emmanuel went to 11.
And he held your hand.
He for sure went to 11. Yeah, dude, held my
I
hand
love
across the
Emmanuel.
street.
I'm gonna miss Emmanuel. He's the one I'm gonna miss the most.
You know,
I'll
you've
miss
not really
Emmanuel the
lived
most.
until you've had a Liberian adult hold your hand crossing the street like you're on a date or something. It was really weird. Like he wouldn't.
He shook your hand, wasn't
but he
it?
didn't let go.
He wouldn't let go.
Like
It wasn't like y'all were like skipping.
it was. It
That
was
would've been
close.
fun.
It's
That would've been
close.
fun.
That was
No,
nuts.
but Emmanuel, we'll miss Emmanuel. We see Emmanuel a lot. We're gonna go see the girls again on Wednesday if you guys are, and we're gonna go see him again on Friday.
Yeah,
And we'll probably get on a plane on Monday.
that'll be a fun Friday. Good grief.
They seemed okay.
I won't be okay. I can just feel it.
No.
Mad today, tearful on Wednesday, boo-hooing on Friday probably.
It's okay. Gotta go home.
Yeah,
Out of money, out of time, out of hope,
out of patience.
out of patience. That's all I got.
That's all I got.